I feel. I don't know if Revenant is memeing or not. Revenant, Revenant, you've met him. It's Yakuzaku. You met him IRL when old mate Ryan, when NXZ was in Singapore. And
I was gonna do an Asian accent, but then I realized I probably shouldn't when I'm on air. Anyway, we are coming down on to Lightshade LE for the final qualifying match here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner map. It is yet another Protoss player, but not just any Protoss player. He is, I would argue, the top PvZ player, and I think he's pretty good at PvT as well. Gonna be coming down representing M for Mindfreak as well as M for Melbourne. He is the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
You know what? I'll give it to Revenant though. I do have an Asian tongue.
You do.
I do.
you do.
Every now and then it does break through a little.
God damn it. But yeah. God damn it, Revenant. He better remember. As Yaku, of course, he was there when NXZ and Elusori, Revenant, Blisk. Was there anyone else that was there at the meetup?
Nem was there.
Oh, Nem was there as well.
And I believe Kaiser? I want to say no, it was Lobo.
Lobo. Oh, cool.
Yeah, Lobo was there.
Unfortunately, that was before Claire. Otherwise, Claire would have been there as well.
He would have. 100%. Everyone was like, yo, who's this Claire guy? He is a mystery.
Yeah,
to the Singapore scene.
Feels
well,
bad,
I mean,
man.
maybe not if they watch certain dramas.
Yeah, and I mean, Nem is very familiar with him now as well, so it's all good.
Yeah.
We were able to bring people together. But yeah, here we go. We're getting into. Oh,
yeah. I like how it took. What is it? 2 Australians, a Polish player, for all of the Singapore players to realize, oh. There are actually other people here to play this game.
Yeah. God damn it. It was really frustrating. For the past couple of years, we started in 2017. We've been running, Kuro and I, we've been running events for the Southeast Asian scene, like for the amateur scene. And like every single time we come across someone from Singapore, they're like, what? There are other people in Singapore that play StarCraft? What? No, there aren't. And we just kept finding them one after the other. We got like 15 and it's like, mate, they're all here. What are you on about? Like, God damn it.
This girl will remind me every time I'm like, yeah, nobody plays that game. She's just like blank face, like, what are you talking about? And anyway, speaking of all here, Azure going with a little bit of a forward starport coming down right now, and he is going for those reacted Hellions. We did see Azure has that Maru portrait. So it's not just Razorblader, who is a massive Maru fan in this bracket, but it is also Azure. He is going for that Hellion drop.
Yeah, speaking of, like, I did want to touch on the fact that when it comes to Pezz, we've casted a lot of his PvT over the past 2 days, namely against Razorblader, and Pezz, he came so close. He actually defeated, he almost dominated Razorblader in the beginning of their series, but Razorblader was able to bring it back. Since then, I'm sure he's been able to process, what transpired in that series. But as we were talking about, Azure, he's not the same as Razorblader. He does like things like this, he can switch things up, and we have this Hellion drop.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is going to drop right onto the vision right now of Pezz, but still, this is not a full wall, and a lot of probes are starting to go down. The Oracles are doing quite a lot, as much as they can, really, to save these probes. But in the end, we still got a barbecue.
Exactly, and again, there's not too much that shoots up. Only one Stalker here, so the medevac can also keep all of this at home. And it's so important because Azure, he was able to scout, he sees all the Oracles, and for the most part, force them to use up their energy at home instead of killing SCVs across the map.
Yeah, that is not something you want to underestimate when it comes to the, potential for these Oracles to do damage. was a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely. I do hope that Azure didn't bite off more than he can chew, as we do have the Oracles and the Adepts coming across the map for Pezz, and if Azure isn't too careful, like, he could still lose a lot of workers.
He definitely can, which is why it was so important for him to get that quick pull onto the bunker. He's not mining from the base, but at least his SCVs are going to be alive. Oracles should be able to take out this... I forgot the name for it for a sec. Cyclone, that's the one. But did have take a lot of damage there. And should be able to get cleaned out.
Yeah, definitely. And the Oracles, they get into the main base, the Adepts shade in as well. More SCVs are going down. Meanwhile, there was a drop. Sorry, the Liberator did siege up in the main of Pezz, so more probes went down as well. So both kind of losing workers on either side of the map, and things are kind of evening out.
Yeah, it really is. And to me, it's kind of hard to decide who's really ahead. I want to say Azure. That's because being a little bit behind in the worker count in a TVP as a Terran player is not as bad. But yeah, we basically had both players reset each other's economies, each other's armies even, to an extent. So we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they both did take a lot of damage, but because Azure, they are for the most part equal in workers, and Azure has mules available to him, I do also kind of want to give the edge to him. But in saying that, Pezz, he is expanding, you know, he is taking a third base, he is trying to catch up in that worker count after his losses, and I'm really curious to see how this plays out, because Pezz, he's investing more into these Phoenixes, which will help a lot against like a potential tank push, but we're not really seeing that from Azure.
Yeah, he is playing out a much more bio-centric 3-racks build. And he is going to be going into those Widow Mines. Which, I mean, without Drilling Claws, it's still... You know, these Phoenixes can still try to catch them before they burrow, but the main concern is those Marines.
Right? Like, you can't underestimate... Man with Gun is pretty good. It's more than pretty good, actually.
Pretty dang good.
Yeah. Everyone say it with me. Man with Gun OP.
I don't have to say it with you. I'm pretty sure I got an emote from some channel.
We do. And here we go. We have a drop that's going over to the north-hand corner of the map. It didn't get spotted by the Adepts, by anything really from Pezz. So this drop could deal some decent damage, as, you know, he revealed and all of his attention is here in the main.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's a nice little scout from Pezz, but in the end, we are still sort of waiting for that trigger to be pulled.
Oh, I love this, though. Like, all these Phoenixes, they've been banked up at home, so when this drop does happen, I can't imagine them. Oh, they move out, though!
They are starting to move out right at the wrong moment. But
Okay, turn around.
Will be able to come back, turn back around. Making sure that all of these Phoenixes are out of position, though, is absolutely key right now for Azure. As there's not really going to be a lot to contest against this bio army. That's a pretty beefy zealot count. But the Oracles do come in with the Revelation. And the Phoenixes should just about be able to pick them off. Yep, just like so.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, meanwhile on the ground, these zealots are providing as good of a buffer as they possibly can. And it looks like Pezz, once again, going to be able to steamroll through the Terran player with all of these zealots, with all of these Phoenixes, even managing to take out that drop.
Jesus Christ, everything went down, and sure there are four Widowmines here.
No! That's a lot of Widowmine connections, I gotta tell you, Light. And with that, kind of been reset.
Yeah,
the armies.
Pretty much, here we go. The Revelation does go down, and the Zealots are going to try and get on top of all these Widowmines. A couple more burrow, though.
Yeah, they do mention burrow, and not quite the Revelations that Pezz wanted. And what a weird game that we've had so far. So much back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw those Zealots slowly moving up that ramp light. It looked like a train in slow motion.
It's like, puppy, please. Like, Pezz, he had such a big advantage.
So you need to realize this quick, my guy.
Yeah, he had such a big advantage in terms of the army supply, but just like that, he lost so much, and because of that, Azure, he was able to hold, and now he's got his third.
He does have his third. A little bit later than the Protoss player, but again, that's about to be expected in a TVP. Azure really teching up, really macroing up. And we are just about getting ready for round 2. When either player decides to push in.
Exactly, and I imagine that Azure is looking to try and, you know, secure himself in his corner of the map because we have an amazing Widowmine spread at the moment. You know, we have 5 here, we even have a couple more, you know, over to the north as well, and yeah, he's just kind of working his way up. I imagine he's going to want to get some ghosts out as well for some EMPs, and Pezz, he as well. I would be a little bit concerned if he decides to push out just because of the defensive position that Azure has. And I feel like he's aware of that, so yeah, we're just kind of slowing down.
Yeah, he's not really pushing out so much as he is just, you know, trying to get map control, trying to make sure he's aware of where Azure's army is at any point, going into his 4th base and gonna be finishing up that Robo Bay as well. So Pezz has identified what he has to do. He is just building up for a higher tier or higher tech army. And gonna go for the main push eventually.
Yeah, definitely. Like, something that he's really missing is, you know, some kind of AoE, whether it's Disruptor or Colossus or Storm or what have you. So we're just kind of waiting to see what Pezz's tech of choice is going to be, as he does have that robotic spade, but he hasn't really started anything from that quite yet. There we go. We have our first Colossus on the way. And
get the upgrade.
He did. He chronoed and there wasn't. Yeah. God damn it. Meanwhile, Azure is looking to multi-prong.
Yeah. Gonna be going for a pretty massive drop here, as well as the Liberator bio push over there. And I will say that it's kind of odd to see the Terran player pushing into a Colossus army or unit composition without Ravens, but this is actually pretty dang huge. It's just about only Zealots right now. If he can actually catch the Colossus right as it pops off, like so, does able to get it, and this is a fantastic position for the bio to be in. Meanwhile, down to south, this 4th base is in a lot of trouble. Either way, Pezz is going to take a lot of damage.
Exactly.
His army is a little too spread. GG is called, and Azure going to be taking game number 1. Old mate Craig.
Jesus Christ, old mate Krug takes game 1, and he just absolutely pulled Pezz apart again. He killed the 4th base, and he killed the first Colossus, and he was on top of the production. There weren't going to be any more Colossus coming out from Pezz.
And I gotta tell you, like, this is probably why, at least in terms of TVP, Azure is my favorite player from this region to watch. He really loves going for these multi-prong harass. He will always keep pressure up on top of his Protoss opponent. Whereas I feel like some of the other Terran players prefer to go for more, you know, timing-based strategies and what have you. Trying to have a really good, like, you know, one really good, solid timing push to break the Protoss player, and I'll give it to them. It works out really well a lot of times for, like, Seether and for Hut. But Azure, he is the guy who will just attack you on every front. If you're a Protoss player.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of definites, we are definitely now on Pillars of Gold. LE no longer holding up the Golden Wall, nor the Eternal Empire. However, the LE submarines are somewhere around. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner map, we have the purple Protoss player coming down and representing M for Melbourne as well as M for Mindfreak. We have a lot of Protoss players in ANZ champs currently. Is he going to be the next one? We have the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Australian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
I gotta tell you, like, I'm looking at chat and, you know, Debbie's really coming in, showing some support for his friend, old mate Craig. You'll love to see it.
I love it. Old mate Krug, man. It's I love that you've adopted this this vocabulary as well, Yaku. As someone who's not natively from Australia, I've noticed that you're not the only one, like Yoda as well. He started saying stuff like that.
Yeah, old mate, listen. It's part of, I gotta assimilate with the region, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually, the other casters are gonna also say that. I may as well, when in Rome.
Now I have to, I have to ask you something, Yaku. When we get to match point, I'm gonna be a bit selfish.
Do a Ryan intro.
That's exactly what I want.
Let's go. Except none of these players are called Ryan.
I know, no one's called Ryan. I don't know if we're ever gonna have the opportunity to do it again though, like with NXZ. So like in honor of him, would you?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do it for the next one.
Represent his legacy boy. His Brisbane legacy boy.
Exactly.
Old mate Ryan. And nice little engineering block will eventually get cleared out, but whatever you can do to sort of annoy your Protoss opponent there. Meanwhile, Azure is going for that straight up 1-1-1. Has not gotten a natural base yet.
Oh yeah, this is crazy. He's still on one base. There's no natural expansion, no second CC. He's going for that one base build, and at the moment, Pezz has no idea. He's going to check right now with the Zealot.
Yeah, and I mean, even when you see these Marines here, you shouldn't be tipped off. Okay, my opponent, he's really trying to prevent the scouting from going off. What are you hiding? Won't quite be able to confirm. Okay, now with 2 Stalkers, you should be able to confirm that it is going to be a 1 base. And with that, how does Pezz react?
Exactly. Pezz even sees the 1-1-1. He sees all the production buildings as well. And I mean, I hope we see some shield batteries. Like we need some kind of defense to come down from Pezz.
Well, that said, what is Azure really building into on 1 base that he couldn't have done on 2 bases is my question. I guess maybe he could have had a bigger Marine count if these Stalkers didn't come in, but yeah, this is not looking too... This isn't looking too cheeky, honestly.
It's not looking scary, right?
Exactly.
Like, what does he have? He has a medevac to drop straight into the main. As you were saying, the majority of the Marines got picked off by the Zealots, by the Stalkers. There's only 2 Marines left at the moment. Like, what is the plan here moving forward? And it looks like Azure's going to expand.
Huh.
Is he?
Interesting.
He has the minerals. He has 400.
And there we go, going for that CC. And I have to wonder how much of that was based on, okay, I wanted to go for something, but then, my Marines got picked off, and now Pezz knows exactly what I'm going for. And I wonder how much of that is influenced by that, and how much of this is just based on, okay, well, I have my build down, and it does involve the getting the natural base later.
Yeah, and I know we're judging this opening a lot from Azure, but we'll see if he's able to deal some damage here, as he doesn't have Stim, but the Hellions are getting into the mineral line.
And they are, and getting a lot of barbecued here. And this sort of stuff, I guess, is pretty good from Azure. Isn't good enough to take out these Stalkers, though. As you're saying, there isn't a shield battery here. But there is just enough army. We'll actually be able to take out that medevac. Nicely done.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing concerning is that, sure, damage was done. 8 probes went down for Azure. Like, he was able to deal some damage, but, like, his natural, still in production. Still not quite done yet.
Indeed, it is. Listen. Taking out 4 probes. That ain't too bad.
Oh, God. The bunker's not done.
No, it isn't, but you know what is? The Cyclone. Blink can finish up for Pezz, though.
Yeah, Blink is done. The Cyclone is getting focused down. One more shot. It does get sniped.
That it does. But our tank is out.
He has high ground vision.
A little bit. He does have high ground vision. He's going to blink right into the main.
Oh, no.
And I think Pezz is just about going to be able to even up the series. Sideways 1-1.
Yeah, this just, what even is there? Like, the tank is forced to come back up, but now it's vulnerable. It could get blinked on top of it, could get focused down, and he's just going for SCVs.
He is just kiting this army left and right, taking whatever damage that he can get. It is always going to be valuable right now for Pezz. There's literally 1 mineral available for Azure.
Yeah.
That was just game-ending damage.
Exactly, and now the War Prism is here as well, so Pezz can reinforce his army. He's a little bit supply blocked at the moment, so he actually can't make anything. He doesn't have any pylons on the way as well. That's the only thing keeping Pezz back. Okay, there we go. Finally, we have some pylons being thrown down. So these are the only Stalkers that Pezz can work with.
And will that give Azure enough breathing room here? He's already going to be deflecting another one of these assaults with stalkers.
Yeah, like, I'm sure as Pezz, he's kicking himself right now. Like, if he wasn't supply blocked, he would have been able to continue to apply pressure and start snowballing. But because, like, his production was hindered, it looks like Azure is able to kind of, like, secure himself. He has 2 tanks now, but...
Well, maybe not so much secure himself, but he has caught his breath back up. He has gotten a decent army that can deal with this harass so long as they're in position. And yeah, sure, he should have been dead, but he's not.
He is not. The War Prism is forced to recall. There are a couple of Stalkers here, but they're not going to be able to find too much damage. And Pezz, he can't end the game. He's forced to expand and kind of chill out for now.
Yeah, well, he is starting to set up. You know, he's getting ready for round 2 when he eventually hits. And I mean, again, we've seen a lot in PvT in particular, when you go for the Blink Stalkers this early on, one of the best things that you can really do is to just, you know, keep your Terran opponent back. The Terran player, they want to go for a timing, they want to go for a push, but, you know, with these Stalkers, you can pick off army here and there, just sort of catch reinforcements wherever you can.
Yeah, he's able to pick off the bunker as well. Azure has to be careful because this tank on the low ground in the natural is looking a little bit exposed. He realizes this. He, you know, repositions some of his army as well. It's so difficult to try and split up to protect your main and your natural. Yeah,
it definitely is. Hagron Vision is just at the edge, it seems.
Yes, he does still have his observer. I'm not too sure the positioning. There we go. The War Prism is over to the right-hand side, maybe waiting for an opportunity to dive into the main.
That it definitely is. Trying to get a bit of a scout here, but denied by those Marines, and that should, you know, that should tip off Pezz and say, okay, I'm not gonna blink into the main anymore. I'm pretty far ahead. I've got my economy up. I've already got my Templar archives. It is time now just to build up.
Yeah, again, he's just kind of containing his opponent. He has Blink Stalkers here ready and waiting for like a medevac to come out or any kind of push. So at it, like, he will be alerted to said push. Meanwhile, Pezz, he's fully saturated on 3 bases. He's up to 60 workers. If he wanted to, he could expand. I feel like that'd be a little bit too greedy. Instead, I like this, is focusing on his army instead with +1 and Archons.
Indeed he is. And meanwhile, Azure is pulling the trigger. Stim just about finished up.
The boys
are being pulled. He knew how long he was on 2 bases, and this is his only option. He does have to go for this massive all-in, and yeah, as he was saying, like, Pezz, it does look a little bit scary for him right now. I would say that his army is favored slightly with these Immortals and with these Archons. But if Azure can get enough of a buffer, enough of a concave, he should just about be able to end the game.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there are no shield batteries here at the 3rd base, so it isn't the best defensive position for Pezz, but he has a decent army.
He does. The old results are streaming in and getting a bit of splash damage here and there. Nice force fields. Does cut the bio about in 2. Every single SCV went down for Azure, and now it's just a bio in the tanks, and I'm not convinced he has enough of it.
Exactly. There's only a handful of bio units left. He blinks on top of the tanks as well.
GG is called, and Pezz is going to be evening out the series sideways 1-1. Just as the sun wakes up.
Funada, Dastan, ¿qué estás haciendo despierto? What are you doing? What are you doing awake right now? Dastan, of course, we've been talking about a lot of Protoss. Dastan is a Chilean Protoss player, the best, one of the best Protosses in all of Latin America. I almost said the best, but I mean, you know, Pocket Mike, Darkness.
Yeah, they're pretty up there. Alright, but speaking of the best, we are now loading into one of the best maps in the current map pool. Well, I say that, but it's mostly just because it looks pretty. It is going to be Death Aura continuing on our TVPs, and I mean, so far, this has just been a pretty quick fire 2 games, I gotta say, and these players, they want to ride that momentum, they want to ride that adrenaline. They're going to be jumping right on in. They do not want to be wasting any time, and speaking of wasting time, you always want to make sure that you're not wasting time. Otherwise, quickly, the Aura of Death will surround you. Here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, there's a probe. That's... Okay, there we go. The purple Protoss player can be representing M for Mindfreak as well as M for Melbourne. He is the player who is looking to re-qualify for the ANZ champs. There's only one more spot remaining. I like to remind everyone, the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And now, Yaku, as we get into
we're not at match point.
As we get into this second intro, we have a proxy racks being thrown down from the top left-hand corner player, the Terran, the red Terran. He has no racks in his main. He is representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
Hi. NXZ lives on in him.
That he does, and this is a really interesting proxy. Like, it isn't on Pezz's side of the map, it's just off to the side. I almost want to like yeah, like, is this like a proxy 1-1-1? Like
I can't be,
because it's not
it might be.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 1-1 for starters, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Pezz just getting a couple of alarm bells ringing in his head.
Like,
knows that he's got a scout now, and
yeah, so Pezz, he has a lot of information. The biggest thing is that both gases have been taken and they're fully saturated. So that, like, you know, it ticks a couple of boxes. Like, he's able to cross off a couple of others, so Pezz is a little bit aware of what is happening. I don't believe he's gone out to scout. He hasn't sent another probe out, so he isn't 100% sure what it is. Oh my god.
You love to see it. Put a little bit of an SOS here. He realizes that, okay, I've scouted the proximities or the parameters of my bases. Whatever you're proxying, it cannot hit me in a time before I'm able to defend. I'm just going to throw it on this Nexus and maybe get a recall up, but, you know, in any case, make you waste time, make you, you know, not be able to mine with those SCVs.
Exactly, like, this could deal a lot of damage because the production of Azure is out of the base, because the Rax is in the air right now. He's not going to have a lot of units to fight against whatever gets recalled into the main.
Yeah, but it does look like Azure has just enough SCVs here to take out the Nexus. That said, there's a lot of SCVs that aren't mining.
That's accurate, and here we go. The Stalker is here as well to chip away at the front line. There we go. The cancel is forced. No recall.
None whatsoever. But there will be some mines coming out, and where is that starport? It's being built back in base, right?
Yeah, it is being built back in the base. It is not being proxied. Meanwhile, we had two Hellions built first, and oh my god, the probes are lining up.
They are lining up. Really good kiting coming out from Azure, and he will already be able to take out 5 probes this early on. He may have had a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of the economy based on how he was playing, but he has more than equalized. Pezz gonna be pretty far down.
Oh yeah.
Worker count.
And Azure, he's not done. We have a medevac on the way as well. We have 3 Widow Mines done so far. A 4th should be done by the time the medevac comes and meets up with everything, and we should see a Widow Mine drop.
Indeed, we should. So medevac moves in to meet with that. We are also getting an armory out.
Yeah.
There are gonna be some cloaked mines. I always say this, Light. I always do. It's not as effective nowadays because the Protoss players tend to open Stargate or Robo, so they should be able to get detection, whether it's from oracles or from observers. But you know, in those golden up moments where they have neither, it's magic, Light. It is magic. You can force them out of the mineral lines for so long. And
we didn't get to mention it, but that was so beautiful. Pezz was actually trying to catch the medevac with his Phoenix. He was trying to circle around and avoid the Widow Mine, but in the end, the medevac was able to juke him, and he does drop into the main.
He does. Even chasing down these probes, he will not be satisfied, but a little bit too late. One of these mines already getting picked up by the Phoenix.
Yeah, and no damage was done. Like, 1 probe went down, another was triggered on a Phoenix. The Phoenix didn't even fall. The medevac is going to go down, but as we pointed out, there is the armory. These Widow Mines are currently invisible, and they're going to re-trigger. Yeah,
honestly, not the best position for the mines to be in. You do have to be a little bit careful and target them on. They are going to go off, but you don't want them to go off in the assimilator like so.
Yeah.
A couple of probes go down, but not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
unfortunately, a bit of
I got excited for a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of RNG does come into play there because of the assimilator. Sometimes it just triggers at the wrong moments and 0 probes go down. Meanwhile, there was another drop here in the natural 4 probes. Again, not that much to be honest, and yeah, there is detection.
Yeah, well, it does stop mining for a little bit. So Pezz, you know, who was already down in the worker count, he's even more down now, and yeah, Azure, hopefully he can write this advantage into the mid game.
Azure is not stopping with the wind mine production.
He has not, but the widow mines are not where they really need to be right now as these Phoenixes come in and they pick off another medevac.
Exactly, that's great. Like Pezz, he's just trying to camp the production, trying to stop or intercept the medevac before it gets to the widow mines so the drops can continue. And at the moment, the widow mines are kind of just, you know, stuck out here. They're kind of all alone.
Yeah, they're chilling. They're vibing.
Oh.
Taking out a chargelet here and there. You know, whatever they can do. NBD. It's intense borrow and reborrow.
Yeah, what are we watching Beyond right now? Like, I don't know if you remember, but there was a lot of micro there, and
and that is a fantastic explosion. Just about every Phoenix gets taken out, and with that, Azure, he's got a bit more freedom when it comes to these mine drops.
Exactly, the detection is here, but it's too late as all the Phoenixes got taken out. The majority of the mines survived, and we do see Azure split them up, a couple going to defend the bases, the other 3 going to harass the mineral lines once again. And I'm surprised that there's no cannons. I'm surprised that there's no like static detection here for Pezz.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Observer is also out in the middle of the map. Okay, it's going home.
It is returning home. It should get to the natural just in time, and we do have a couple of stalkers here ready and waiting for the medevac.
That we do. And there we go. Have it. Yeah, it's back in.
All right, and oh no!
Yeah, boost forward, but it is not going to be enough. One mine manages to unload, but immediately picked up by the Phoenix and sniped out from the sky by the stalkers. And it looks like that's about going to be the end of the harass. Well, I say that, but Azure continuing to produce from this factory. Is he rallying it back home, though? That's my question.
He is rallying them across the map. He wants to waddle them into the third at the moment.
Well, whatever you can get, really.
Yeah.
To prevent or delay that third from getting out, and then I say go for it.
They be waddling to try and get some more damage. You have to be careful though. We were talking about it before, like diminishing returns. At some point, you want to stop going for like the Widowmine drops because the damage has been done. You know, now we have cannons in the mineral lines as well. Like, you don't want to go too overboard with them.
Yeah, you definitely don't. Which is why Azure is just using them as kind of spotters at the moment. And finally, we do see the push out coming. And this is a pretty scary army from Azure. His +1 is about to be finishing up. He's got a really good mix of Marines and Marauders. And that's a very exposed looking Colossus.
Oh yeah, it's very Funada. It looks like all these Widowmines are going to be picked off before they manage to take part in this engagement. But there's a decent amount of bio. Only 1 medevac to sustain them though.
Yeah, and that is going to be a little bit of an issue. Azure playing it a lot more cautiously right now. He has no interference matrix. He has, as you were saying, only 1 medevac, so he doesn't want to overstim and just lose his entire army to a Colossus. So he's splitting it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I like this. Azure, he decides to regroup. Again, he did lose a couple of Widowmines in the beginning for not too much. And you need as much as you can, especially when you're going up against a Colossus-based army. Now with 2 Colossus joining the fray. And oh, it looks like he's opting to go for a bit of a Doom Drop.
Yeah, the vast majority of his army, even this medevac that I did not notice, is going to be towards the north end. Yeah, this little poultry force is going to be enough to really distract Pezz.
He goes in.
That he does, and he is looking to clean house.
Exactly, only a couple of Stalkers were warped in, a couple more Colossus, but they're a little bit exposed, they get pounced upon. Oh, it does pull back just in time.
Armor being taken out and denied right there for Pezz, and Azure just gonna be dipping right on out.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, decently done, right? Like, what, he lost 3-4 units? The majority of his medevacs are still full, so he lost minimal amounts, and he was able to take out quite a lot of production, take out the upgrade as well. That was the only forge.
That was the only forge. No cannon's gonna be made for quite some time. And getting ready for the second round.
Yeah, it has to be careful though, because this time there are stalkers in the main base, and I like this Azure. He's not diving back in. He is looking to regroup with his main army, and yeah, maybe try and hit the third. But now we have 3 Colossus. The Templar Archives, it feels like it is a little bit late, you know, when it comes to reinforcing this army with Archons or Storms, but it is on the way.
Yeah. And to be fair, he has been down in the work count for quite some time. This mines do mention Burrow, and he gets some pretty good pickoffs on the Zealots. A little bit of friendly fire connecting though. Here's a massive drop into the main once more. And Warp's gonna be taken out. Forge again, if I'm not mistaken, and all these starters started to go down. GG is called, and Azure now on match point.
My god, that was exactly the same thing happened in, I believe it was game number 1. Azure, he goes in, he drops, he takes out the Robo, it completely stops, negates the Colossus production, and things just snowball from there. Pezz, his main army was out in the middle of the map, it was so far away to help defend.
Really was. Well, there was also that other bit of harassment being done south over there. And Pezz, you know, he really had to make a decision. How do I split my army? And yeah, in the end, it didn't quite work out for him. Azure absolutely knew where he needed to be with which army, and just like that, gonna be on match point.
Yeah, here we go. Azure, he's up 2-1. Of course, as a reminder, there were a couple of people asking about it. This is a best of 5. All qualifying matches are best of 5s, and this is the final one for ANZ Champs Winter. And again, we're on match point. Azure, he just needs one more.
You know, you've been saying it throughout the broadcast, like, but I think it's only now really hit me. I think I've only now processed it. One of these players is not going to qualify.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And they're done. They're done for 2020, man. That's it.
Exactly. That's absolutely insane to think about. But before we get into thinking, we are going to be getting into Oxide LE, we be breathing. We're over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner map. We have the purple Protoss player coming all the way from the land of M for Melbourne, gonna be representing M for Mindfreak. He is gonna be looking to do something that really changes fortune. The purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE. Mate, who do we have?
He will. We're going to be coming up here in the top right corner of the map. He is a blue Terran player. He's going to be coming down from the Gold Coast. He is that Brisbane boy. He's going to be representing Legacy Esports, and he's going to do it for the gold medal. We have Azure. Old mate Craig. Heads off to you.
He's doing it for old mate Ryan.
He's doing it for Ryan.
Oh, God. What a guy. What a guy. I mean...
I have not done a Ryan intro in so long.
It's been months. It's actually been months. God damn it.
Lots of justice.
Yes, rest your breath. But of course, Ryan, aka Oldmate NXZ, he is not here, but his spirit lives on in his teammate in Azure. And is he going to be able to pull it off here? He only needs one more win in this best of 5 to qualify for ANZ Champs. Or can Pezz stop that from happening? Can Pezz take it to the ace match?
Yeah, let's find out.
Oh god, he's trying to stop the SCV. Can he do it? Can he do it?
A little bit of building RNG there, and actually Azure, he's being so careful with this. I don't know if you noticed, but he actually stopped building for a while, just so he can reposition.
Oh boy, yeah, I mean, it's such a shame because Pezz even pulled an extra probe to make sure that the bunker didn't go up, and it went up anyway, you know, a bit of extra lost mining time there, and oh god, because of the positioning, because of the map layout, yeah, we have this available to Azure. He can just jump up and down and be even more annoying with the Reaper. He
will even managing to save the SCV right in the nick of time. He's had a little bit of an opportunity to repair this bunker if he needs to. And yeah, just completely preventing the mining from this natural base.
Yeah, exactly. All this lost mining time. Here we go. The shield battery has finished up, so now the Adepts can slowly chip away at this bunker. They did manage to snipe that Reaper, sorry, that SCV, so that helps, you know, deal with this a little bit faster. There's no more repairs.
No, there's not. But damage has already been done. So much lost mining time. Even managing to get the KD8 charge. And was that a misclick by Pezz? Thought I saw a probe die.
I don't think it didn't die. It didn't die. It's fine. It's okay.
Okay.
A probe did get focused, but it did just get in range of the shield battery.
Ah, okay. I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
It's all good, and here we go. Pezz, he's doing what he does best. He's going for this Stargate opening. So far, 2 oracles. In the past, he's gone for 3 before pushing out, and Azure, he has not spotted this. Because the Reaper was busy in the natural, it didn't go into the main to scout.
No, it did not, which is a little bit of a double-edged sword when you do go for this kind of things. And he's trying to go in with another scout, and I do believe that, yes, there we go. Hellion's able to sneak on through. And now, their oracles have been revealed.
Oh, they have been revealed.
Exposed.
Oh, 6 probes do end up going down to that run by. Honestly, that's not too bad. Like, even though the reactions were quite fast for Pezz and he had these oracles for defense, the Hellions did deal a decent amount of damage.
Yeah. 6 probes this early on for just a couple of Hellions for a single Reaper. And obviously, the biggest thing is you're finally able to scout out that Pezz is once more going for these oracles. So he's preparing in kind.
Someone said red eye guest cast.
That's waiting for you to read chat.
Oh god.
I don't want to mention chat just yet, but you know, once you do, all bets are off. I do want to make a record though. I do want to make a record for longest intro. At some point, there's a lot of DPS come down. The oracles are starting to hit. The Cyclone being taken out, and there's not much anti-air left. But the SCVs really working overtime and will prevent any of these Adepts from breaking through. Nicely done.
Ooh, yeah, even though the focus fire was amazing from Pezz, able to take out the Cyclone, it wasn't enough. The DPS wasn't there. The repairs were, and the bunker stood strong.
Meanwhile, we do see a Banshee coming out. Will be denied, but that's even more probe damage being done.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. 8, even more, because there's another Banshee here in the natural. Probes are going down, and this was all after Pezz invested so much in trying to bust the natural of Azure.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage, and with that, Azure, he's ahead by 10 SCVs. He's, you know, working on his production. He's perfectly fine at home working on his upgrades, and Pezz, he needs to try and find some damage somewhere else. And I mean, with 3 oracles, you totally can.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna wipe out a mineral line, and I do like that he's also moving in with his Phoenixes, just in case he needs a bit more of a just in case he needs something to take damage, or in case he needs to lift a Cyclone. But yeah, Azure already prepared, already in position. This is him thinking, all right, how is he going to be able to come back in this game? All right, by the air army. I should prepare for that.
Yeah, and I mean, Pezz, he's still continuing to invest in this air army. Like, he's pumping out a couple more Phoenixes, which, I mean, to be fair, in this matchup, Phoenixes can be invaluable when it comes to their CC, when it comes to shutting down medevacs and drops as well. And I mean, I don't blame him, right? We've seen Azure like drop like so well throughout this entire series.
That he has, but you know what? He's also dropped well despite Phoenixes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh.
But we'll see how it does work out in the end. Azure just sending out a couple of spotters just to make sure that, you know, he's aware of where Pezz decides to expand to, so he knows where to send his push eventually. Stim is about halfway done, like.
Oh,
coming soon.
Yeah, Stim is going to be finishing up soon. Combat shields as well. +1 is already done for Azure as well. So I imagine we're going to be seeing him push out with his bio, with his tanks as well. And Pezz, what's he going to have to defend? He does have a shield battery at home. I love this. He's setting up stasis wards in the center of the map as well.
Indeed he is. Whatever he can really do to try to, slow the push come up from Azure. Azure is going to be going once again for his multi-prong push. And it already gets caught out by the Phoenixes.
Oh.
Massive damage.
Wow.
Then with that, the supplies have equalized.
Exactly, like Azure is pushing out with his main army, and I'm sure he would have loved to have attacked, at the front and dropped at the same time, but that was completely denied, especially because Azure, he doesn't have too many medevacs. He has one with his main army, two more popping out, and this could just, slow down the push. I don't know if Azure is confident enough to push out with what he has.
Now he's got to actually, concentrate his forces onto one point. Oh, still trying to go for a bit of a drop.
Yeah, the thing is, it's so difficult because everything is revealed. Like the medevacs, the main army, everything has vision currently for Pezz.
And with that, Azure, he has just got his gas off the pedal. No, foot off the gas is what I meant. Foot off the gas pedal.
Pedal.
He wanted to push, but he was just completely shut down.
He's pedaling gas.
What? Oh, I get it.
God damn.
Like
just like, and alright, so I mean Azure, he's opting to expand instead. He's got his third base down on location. He's getting a couple more production buildings, working on his armory as well, and I mean, I feel like something that's definitely missing here is like previously he's utilized a lot of Widow Mines, and that helps so much against Zealots, which is what Pezz has. This time not so much though. Like Azure is a lot more tank heavy.
Indeed he is. And on top of that, he's also got a pretty big amount of Marauders, which, again, don't do that much damage against these Zealots. A couple of them do manage to sneak on in. Oracle not quite going to be able to take out that tech lab, and yeah, with this, Azure going to be splitting up his army somewhat. Is Pezz going to take advantage of that?
Yeah, at the moment, it doesn't look like it. Like his main army is still here outside the third base with the rocks, with this SimCity and the depots. It looks so awkward to push into, especially with charge lots.
Yeah, I think that is definitely an advantage of Oxide. If you can set up your defenses, this is going to be really awkward for your opponent to push in. And Azure, I mean, as you were saying, he doesn't quite have an anti-zealot answer or option. But even still, he's got a lot of bio, he's got a lot of tanks. Even had a couple of Liberators, okay, only one Liberator at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like for now anyway, Azure, he's just content to just stay here at home until he builds up a large enough force where he feels confident enough to push out. I feel like the Liberators are going to play a large part in that, as you just see 2 in production at a time to help like bolster his army. And Pezz, I feel like he realizes this and he's just backing off, he's expanding, taking a 4th base as well. I love this, even reveals some of the medevacs here in case a drop does come out.
He does. But I feel like Azure, he's had enough of dropping. He's had enough of the multi-prongs. May load up a single medevac or what have you. But yeah, for now, he is just building up for his second timing.
Yeah, as we do have 2-2 on the way. There we go, Ghost Academy just finishing up as well. So we're going to see Ghost Incorporated, some EMPs come into play. But he's, oh god, it's a bit of a choke point, but he's moving.
Mostly here to support his stasis bio. Did not want to get that cleaned out. But here comes the engagement. Azure really pressing it. And that's a decent position and a very good position for tanks. The Zealots completely wiped out. And does Azure have too much DPS? I think he does. Pezz, his army in complete shambles. Good crowd control with these Phoenixes. But other than that, it cannot really do much. Good game. Congratulations. GG is called. And our final qualified player for the ANZ champs is gonna be our Legacy Esports Terran player. It will be Azure.
Exactly, Azure. He doesn't just do it for Australia. He doesn't just do it for the other Terran players out there, but more importantly, he does it for old mate Ryan.
DD does.
Oh my god.
Drink water after that Ryan intro.
Oh, good. And with that, with the 3-1 over Pezz, Azure qualifies. He is the final player to qualify. We've had all these Protoss players. We've had Razor Blader, and now we have Azure. He's finally done it. And unfortunately, or condolences to Pezz, because that was his last chance.
That was really hard fought. I will say that from Pezz.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of players who, it's really unfortunate that they didn't manage to make it into ANZ champs. We saw how close it could have been for a lot of them. Pezz was one of them. Oreo was another one of them. And yeah, it does really suck quite a bit that a couple of these players aren't going to be making it in.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
2021.
Right, like we're nearing the end of 2020, but that's not it. It's not over. It may be the end of StarCraft in the EPT for 2020, but of course we're gonna have spring, summer, autumn, winter once again for 2021. Like, it isn't the absolute end. And yeah, I guess we're gonna have a little bit of a break when it comes to the main events, but you know, we're always gonna have all these weeklies. We have GPO, we have the Demi C weekly. Shout out to Demi for hosting and running his own tournament for the region.
Weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say weekly, and I was gonna be like, I will correct you.
I avoided that word.
Tournament. It's all good. Haha.
And the Our Die weekly as well. So like, there are still plenty of events for people to participate in. Plenty of regional events, and yeah, it's not, you know, it's not the only AU or C StarCraft that we have here.
No, it is not. As I nod my head along.
As you know, as before we close it out, I do want to give a quick shout out to Demi, because we actually have Demi C weekly number 2 in a couple of days.
Ooh, that's gonna be on Tuesday?
It's will.
Ah.
Yeah,
Look
normally
at that exit, it's just woke up.
normally the Demi C weekly is on the weekend, but because of the ANZ chance and NXZ's in the, god damn it, finally NXZ shows up at the very end. God damn it, he did it for you, Ryan. You did it, you made it. God damn it, where have you been?
Made it specifically.
specifically. But yeah, Demi C Weekly is going to be this Tuesday. It's going to take up the time slot that ESL Dare Cup used to have, and it was moved around, as you know, we don't really want to clash too much with ANZ champs, with the qualifiers of ANZ champs. I'm sure all these players are tired after a long day of playing. Another bi-weekly on top of that is a bit much, so yeah, giving them a little bit of a break.
Yeah, catch a breather there. And with that, your final players who have qualified from these qualifiers, they are going to be Bwisk, Thuklau, Justice Simon, Leo Rusher, Azure, Razorblader, and Ranger.
That's a lot of Terran. Sorry, that's a lot of Protoss. That's a couple of Terran. That's Zero Zerg. Yeah. Oof.
Look, they're all giving their energy to Miyamika. This DreamHack winner, this is going to be the season of Miyamika. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a big meme going on during the qualifiers. Even before them, a lot of the players did change their name to Miyamika Fan, and there's a reason behind that. You know, Miyamika, he's looking to be on fire in maybe the best shape he's ever been in.
That he has made it to #1 GM on the NA server for the first time, and he's been going back and forth with Champ for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And he, of course, did get directly seeded into DreamHack, into the main event for Oceania. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing him in ANZ Champs, but we will see him later on down the line. And of course, you did mention the players who qualified, but a couple of the players who got invited, they are in the chats. You know, Demi was invited, as well as Ender, Piglet, T-Bull, and I'm missing one more.
You mentioned Piglet. Wait,
Piglet, Demi,
Risky.
Ender.
Wait,
Oh, Risky, yeah.
Oh, you did mention Risky. Okay.
Yeah, and Risky, of course. So yeah, all these players will be featured this coming weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days of Southeast Asian and Oceanic StarCraft is going to be coming at you. So everyone, you know, mark your calendars. That's where we're going to be, and it's going to be pretty sick.
That it is. October could be another one of those long DreamHack months, but you know what? It's gonna be spooky.
Exactly. Oh boy, and with that, Yaku, thank you so much for joining me. I know you weren't originally planned to cast this, but
It wasn't.
yeah, thank you for waking up so early. I know, like, we started at, what, 8 a.m. for you?
Yeah, 8 a.m. for me is 2 p.m. I woke up at around 6 a.m.
Yeah. Oh boy, and this isn't going to be The Last of Us. Of course, you and I, we're going to be casting tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, I should be awake for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be the ESL Open Cup Pro Tour Asia division. Gonna be at 6 p.m. KST about, let's see, how do I math this? 28 hours. 27 hours from now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Yaku and I are going to be live with that. So that is, if you're a fan of Korean StarCraft, you know, typically we have a lot of Korean Protosses, stats, zest, trap, patience. If they're Korean and if they're Protoss, they're probably there. And a handful of other Zergs and Terrans as well, sprinkled throughout. But yeah, if you're interested, you know, do hit that follow button. We are going to be live every day of the week this week. We have so much StarCraft upon us, and yeah, it's gonna be a long month. It's gonna be intense October.
It will.
And with that, Yaku, you know, there's been some questions, you know, especially Revenant. He's been trying to figure out, who are you? Who are you to these people?
Who am I? What is my purpose? What do I? Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. Probably stream next week, maybe. TM. Twitter.com @EmporiaYakuzaku! ! Discord in the chat. Bring you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server. You can find me as well as the other members of CranKy in there. And other than that, buy my shirts. Where can we find you, Light?
Lights_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me there on the social medias. I usually tweet when I go live. And you can follow me on Twitch if you're interested in, you know, some diamond StarCraft ladder / Masters 3. I'm trying to get back there. And if you're interested in some behind the scenes streams, I also, you know, make work on thumbnails or scheduling or tweets for CranKy Ducklings, and you can tune in there. I did quickly want to remind you, if you are interested in StarCraft news, then on Twitter, follow @StarCraft Esports. Both Kura and I, we run that Twitter account together. We also run @SC2 Birthdays if you're interested in, you know, celebrating players' birthdays.
Should probably point out it's not to be confused with the official StarCraft.
Oh yeah, it's not to be confused with the official StarCraft esports account, which is esports StarCraft, which don't tweet about StarCraft. Don't confuse us with them. We actually tweet about StarCraft. So if you're interested in that, then do look for us on Twitter and Facebook as well. We did recently make a Facebook account. And yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. As a reminder, if you enjoyed our cast, hit that follow button. We're live every day of the week this week. And if you want to support the scene, then stick around, as we are going to be hosting another SC2 streamer.
It's probably going to be Vivid.
If Vivid is streaming, we're hosting him. We're rating him even, but he's not. God damn it, Vivid, please. God damn it. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Ciao.
Bye. Bella.